every other day, it seems like I get an email that the testing of the water in either Falls or Whitings, the bacteria or the E. coli count has gone above the established minimum threshold for safe swimming.
Correct.
And we have to issue the beaches are closed
For
until
swimming.
further testing. Now, Anne Marie and Brian, describe that process, what we do to take care of our beaches from the health department's perspective, what your roles in are this.
You have to, state mandated, you have to do testing for E. coli. It's called an indicator for bacteria.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the organism that will make people sick, but if that is there in presence, it's potentially that. So years ago, Conservation used to do the testing, but the follow-up is the responsibility for the Board of Health. So probably about 10 years ago, it made sense to just migrate the testing to the health department, because we're the ones that have to close the beaches, work with everybody there.
Sounds like we're making the Conservation Commission's job a little bit easier with a couple of the modifications of how the workflow is going.
We used to have high counts. It was something we had one summer, I can recall, that it was actually really closed almost all summer.
Yeah.
What made a big difference was getting the lifeguards. We noticed that once the lifeguards came to the beaches, because of the extra work and the park and rec staff, they would rake the beaches. So what would happen is the geese would come. The geese, as we know, like to leave droppings behind. That would wash into the water, and that would cause the raised counts. But with park and rec staff and with lifeguards, they would rake the beaches, we'd see them down. So that leads us to these counts and something called geomeans.
Okay.
So what happens at minimum amount, so 235 is what the number is. So if you're over that number, even by one, you have to close the beach.
Walk us through that process. What does that look like? So, a day in the life of Brian McCracken at the town beaches.
So we usually, the company that does the environmental testing, they'll go out on a Monday, and so we will get the results back usually on like a Wednesday. If that result is too high, I immediately go out there. I put my waders on, which, you know, you got to go 3 feet into the water, you just scoop your sample, and then you drive straight out to Middleborough to drop off that sample to the lab. And you just kind of hope that the results went down in those couple days and we can open the beaches back up. But with the geomean, it's just an average of the samples. So if you get one that's really high and then one of them's really low, they take that middle area.